U.S. qualify as ultra-processed. This means the foods are made up of cheap ingredients, have little to no nutritional value, and contain additives. Joining me to discuss is Associate Medical Director of the Amen Clinic, Dr. Ebony Cornish. Dr. Cornish, thank you so much for joining us. 72% is a high number. So what kind of foods are we talking about here, and what is this doing to our bodies?
Yes, we're talking about those foods that are processed, full of dyes, full of seed oils, that are easily accessible and highly palatable. So what we find is that these foods are not only negatively impacting our gut, but because our gut sends signals to our brain, they're causing brain inflammation as well. And not only that, what we're finding at Amen clinics is that because the gut has a lot of those chemicals that keep your mood stable, called neurotransmitters, that processed foods are leading to more high levels of mental health imbalances and depression, as well as focus problems.
Okay, so I mentioned breakfast a moment ago. Here are some common ultra-processed foods and then healthy alternatives. We go from sugary breakfast cereals to oatmeal or plain yogurt, potato chips to homemade popcorn or roasted chickpeas. Processed deli meats can be grilled chicken or tuna, and bottled salad dressing would be considered ultra-processed. You can go for homemade vinaigrette. Do you sign off on those suggestions, and do you have any others for us?
I do sign off on those suggestions, and I also like things like eggs, which gives you high levels of choline, which help with brain function. I also like avocado. That's another thing that gives you that good fat to surround our brain, because what we find is that these foods are not only toxic to our waistline, but they're leading to more neuroinflammation. So people are going throughout their day feeling more foggy, having cognitive impairment, focus issues, and it's all because of how they're starting and ending their day and what they're feeding their gut.
Something that I found interesting is that researchers recently all got together and they decided to create a formal definition for what ultra-processed foods are, because apparently there wasn't one in the past. And then when it comes to legislation and how people can combat the food epidemic, the unhealthy food epidemic in our country, it became a little bit challenging. So what is that definition now, and how do you think lawmakers can use it to create legislation to make everybody healthier?
I think that ultra-processed foods are those that are genetically and modified, and I also think that they're packaged foods. I think that everyone should be reading those labels, looking for seed oils, looking for inflammatory ingredients, looking for dyes, because we've seen on brain imaging that dyes can also cause problems in your front of your brain, which is responsible for that dopamine hijack. So people have higher levels of addiction and focus. And I think that if we take the time to look at our labels, if we take the time to look at these prepackaged ingredients, that our country is going to be healthier, our brains as well as our gut.
A great reminder as we all get our day started this morning. Dr. Ebony Cornish, thank you for getting us started on the right foot. We appreciate it.
All right, everyone have a wonderful day, and let's start loving our brains better.
There you go.
I love that. You as well.
Let's go.
All right.